Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 50. 50 halfway to 100. It's the 50th episode of the Chtib Zhang Show. Today, we are going to be recapping UFC 269 because there's quite a lot to talk about, a lot of storylines, a lot of good stuff. And then jumping into UFC Vegas Fight Night 45, highlighted by, headlined by Derek Lewis, Chris Dawkins, Stephen Thompson, Belal Muhammad. But before we get into that, Eric, as always, we got to talk about the sponsor of the episode, Hot Streak Fantasy, the best in-play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2 to 3 players in the NFL and NBA. Watch your favorite team. Watch them make you some money. Hot Streak is matching your initial deposit as a bonus when you use promo code Hot Sauce. So get Hot Streak Fantasy app now every week. Quick, easy way to make money while gambling on sports. It's very quick. If you want to make a bet, immediately something pops in your head, hop on Hot Streak Fantasy. There'll be a bunch of bets changing every minute, everything like that. So if you're into that, check it out, download it, and get started. But as always, before we jump into the video, roll it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 50. Eric, it's 50 episodes. We do this now.
Stuff.
Halfway. That's 50 to go till 100.
Yeah.
Big milestone there, 50. But yeah, we want to thank people who have been watching ever since the first episode when we started it on our own YouTube channel and then moved over to Hot Sauce. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's great time to express our opinions about sports. Just like we're going to do in this episode with UFC 269, UFC Fight Night Vegas coming up this Saturday in Las Vegas. Big card there, highlighted by two big main events that we're going to talk about. But let's talk about UFC 269 first. Last episode talked about it. We were talking about predictions, talking about who we thought was going to win. Well, now we know all the answers to that.
Yeah.
As we just after Saturday, we watched the fight. A lot of bets didn't go our way. Some bets went our way, thank God. But the biggest ones obviously were the title fights where we were 0 for 2. I think a lot of people were either 1 for 2 or 0 for 2 because there was an upset with Amanda Nunes, Julia Pena. She is now the bantamweight champion, women's bantamweight champion of the world, dethroning one of the probably the best women's mixed martial artists to ever fight in Amanda Nunes. Wow. Okay, but let's not get into that. Let's start during the main card.
Yeah.
Man, just a lot of good fights.
There's a lot of fights.
Yeah, Sugar Sean, he comes out on top, beats Raul Paivan in the first round, was it right? Round one knockout. But yeah, I know you want to talk a little about Sugar Sean and what's next for him because he's not ranked right now, the bantamweight division. So what's next?
Yeah, I know. But before I talk about Sugar Sean, let's just talk about the crazy transition and intro you just gave. I'm not like that intro is underrated that you just gave. The transition between the topics was good.
Okay.
That was a good This is why there's 50 episodes right now. No, I just gotta give you credit. That was really good.
After 50, I keep surprising Zhang.
There you go. That was really smooth. That was definitely
you were just amazed by it.
Yeah, that was amazing. Okay, but so Sugar Sean, going to the fight, big favorite, but not as big of a favorite that he was in the past. Like usually he's a huge favorite. Like this one, people had it maybe a little closer, right? And the thing with Sugar Sean is, like, Paiva was technically ranked above Sugar Sean, but obviously a lot of rankings don't mean all that all the time, right? So Sugar Sean coming into this fight. He beat 2 other guys. He lost to Marlon Vera, then beat 2 other guys. Very no one really know, not big fighters, right? So then he's fighting Paiva, who a lot of people said it was gonna be his toughest competition since Marlon Vera. Goes there and puts on an absolute just beautiful mixed martial. The striking was beautiful. Everything was perfect. The finish, everything. There wasn't really a weakness in his game. He almost Paiva tried to take him down. There wasn't a weakness at all. He did what he had to do. He got his promotion out. So for Sugar Sean, you can see the precision in everything. He probably looks or acts like he's not doesn't really, but he's a precise strike. He's not as good as Israel, but he has that similar accuracy and precision when he fights, and just smoothness. Like he's really smooth with it. And then the thing is, so people want to see him fight a good grappler, right? So that's where people are like, oh, that should be his next step up, right? If he wants to get to the top. So right now, Sugar Sean's probably gonna get ranked around
12th.
They're probably gonna put him at
bantamweight.
He's what?
He's 12th right now.
They put him at 12th. Okay.
Ranking MMA.com. Yeah, the UFC bantamweight rankings. It says Sean is 12th right now.
So they have him at 12, which is really nice.
But Pedro Munoz, who just fought Dominic Cruz, and
exactly.
lost.
So, hey, that's really good for him, because the thing with Sugar Sean is, I want to see him fight definitely a top 15 or maybe top 10 guy, right? Just even like Pedro Munoz would be like
maybe a Marlon Vera rematch, number 9
exactly. But the only thing with Marlon Vera is I don't think that fight might necessarily happen, just because Marlon Vera is climbing quickly, And his fight over Frank Yeager was huge. That was a huge win for him. And
so why would he want to fight Sugar?
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to look up, right? He's trying to look up the rankings, and so that's why I don't think that fight would be really good, because it's a rematch for Sugar Sean. Sugar Sean's always saying, "Oh, like I'm 15," and he's always putting the O there, but really there's that one there, right? So, if Sugar Sean can prove to me that he can beat Marlon Vera, hey, I can forget that one. I'll call it. We can call it a fluke, kind of that first. We can call it a fluke if he beats Marlon Vera in devastating fashion. But so that's what I'm saying. I hope Sugar Sean comes out because he fought 3 times this year already, so which is really good for a UFC fighter. Has 3 wins this year, right? So hopefully next year we can see another 3 fights. But obviously now, since he's fighting top guys, this can start being, because he's going to take more damage, right? So
yeah, for sure. So Sugar Sean, hopefully I want to see this guy starting to fight some
he's
real
very
deals.
entertaining,
because hopefully his next fight, hopefully he doesn't pull the same BS where he's picking a low ranked guy that he knows he could beat, because there is more to his game, and he's a really good fighter, and kickboxer, and I want him to challenge himself a little more, so that's how fighters gain experience and grow as better fighters, is they lose, they fight guys. They learn a lot of technique, and then if they lose, they lose. It gives them experience, and they become better fighters at the end of it. Sugar Sean needs to take a page out of that book. But
what Hamzat is doing, because the thing with Hamzat is Hamzat's literally but Hamzat also is very different, because people see how dominant Hamzat is. They see the dominance. Sugar Sean's a bit more of, they can see he can get the highlight win, the striking, and he has a personality, but he doesn't have all the tool sets yet. Hamzat, people see a bunch of tool sets in him. That's why
it needs to work on his trash talking a little. He's letting Cody Garbrandt kind of run his mouth a little. I would have loved to see something else, a little more of Sean O'Malley. But speaking of Cody Garbrandt, he gets knocked out by Kai Kara-France. A bet we took Kai Kara-France in the flyweight division, not a division we talk a lot about. Yeah. But Kai Kara-France, number 6 ranked. I think flyweight probably going to jump up now to a top 5 contender. He fights Cody Garbrandt, who former UFC bantamweight champ. Yeah. And then first fight in flyweight. I said he was stepping into Kai Kara-France's world. You agreed, and then we took Kai Kara-France, and Cody Garbrandt got knocked out. Was it first or second round? Was it
first round?
First round.
Maybe second. But it was quick. It was quick.
Anyway, Cody Garbrandt, he got his chin. He got clipped a few times. Yeah, and then went down. So that's 5 losses now in his last 6, or 6 in his last 7. Something. It's 5 in his last 6, I think.
Yeah,
crazy like that.
Yeah, he hasn't won in a while.
That's so. What's next for Cody Garbrandt? He just drops down to flyweight, right? Thinking this was the right move, but clearly wasn't. Clearly, that glass chin showed, and it did show. He's lost 5 out of his last 6 now. Sorry, I'm looking now. It was round 1 KO, 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So what's next with Cody Garbrandt? You can't move down another division.
Exactly. So the thing with Cody, because I think he was coming down to 125. It's like fresh start, new league. But then, hey, a lot of people, Kara-France, you don't just come here and expect to first fight. Kara-France, people have been hyping. I know Israel Adesanya has been hyping him. This guy has power and he can strike. So, but Cody Ray, he has his speed, but he always gets knocked out now. Almost all of his losses have been knocked out recently, and it's kind of sad to see because Cody Garbrandt, he was a champ when he was 25 years old. So he's a very young champ, and he looked amazing. And then over the last 4 years, been able to win one fight against not even a really good opponent in his last 5 or 6, right? So then it's starting to get brutal, right? Because like he used to be a champ, but like, oh, people were thinking like, is he getting cut soon? But the thing is, if he's making the cut down to flyweight, it's definitely a tough cut for him too, right? So he's got to stay committed, but I don't think he should go back up to bantamweight because I don't think the bantamweight division is way too stacked for him. He won't be able to do any. The thing is, in flyweight, if he would have won that fight, he would have been able to challenge for the title. So now Kyra France gets to challenge for the title. He gets to fight the winner of Brandon Moreno and Devinson Figueiredo that we're going to talk later on. Not like in future episodes. The UFC 270. But so that's what I'm saying. So Kyra France is going to fight for the title. He's going to fight the winner or of that. He's definitely up there now. And Cody Garbrandt, I hope he just fights some random flyweight guy that he can beat. And
that's what I was going to say.
And then get back up there, you know?
Like he is 5-6 now. He's not the cheapest fighter on the UFC roster, right? We know that he makes a lot. And so Dana White obviously doesn't like seeing that. I think they give him one more shot at 125 in the flyweight.
Yeah.
If he loses, let alone gets knocked out, I think that's it for him. He's cut. I don't think they'll cut him now, because it was his first fight in flyweight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think he'll have more time now to adjust to the division. And get ready for his next opponent. But man, like Cody Garbrandt, like you said, 25, a young champion in bantamweight, and it would just be terrible to see this guy get cut. Former champ. So, he has one more fight, I'd say, in him, 125. If he loses, or like I said, I don't know, he gets knocked out, it's done for him. Cody Garbrandt's going to be cut from the UFC.
He's still a big name for the UFC, right? Like, people, like, we would not be talking about Kyra France if it wasn't Cody Garbrandt in there, I think that's why he went down to, because the UFC, no, he's still a big name. Like no one knows anyone in the flyweight. Like now we know Kyra France, and people only know Devinson Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno, and Cody Garbrandt, and those are the only people, So that's why I think he might stick in the UFC for a bit. But it's kind of sad because when he fought Dominic Cruz and he destroyed Dominic Cruz. For the title, he put on one of the craziest display of striking and accuracy. He knocked him down like 5. It was just amazing. He was show like everything was perfect. That was his highest of highs. He looked amazing, and then just been downhill ever since. He has fought decently good fighters, but definitely fighters that he could beat. Like Kyra France. Like obviously he lost to TJ Dillashaw. That's a tough. Rob Font still but he has fought good fighters. But this is a fight he definitely could have won. The fact that he lost by knockout just showed, because people have been talking about his glass chin, right? So the fact that he lost by knockout shows, like, even, but he is young though. He's still young. I think I believe he's like 29, 30. Like the UFC still strives on, like 30.
They are cutthroat. They are cutthroat.
Yeah. They do. Hey,
make a lot of money and you lose.
Exactly.
The door off to Eagle FC with Khabib you go.
Exactly. Or go to Belta. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened to Kevin Lee. So
Kevin Lee signed with Khabib. Eagle
but
FC.
I'm not gonna lie, Dana is picky. Cause like there's a fighter like, let's say like Donald Cerrone. He's been in the UFC. He hasn't won and he's still in the, like, you know what I mean? Tyrone Woodley fights 4 really good guys, gets cut and then gets cut. Like it's really different. Like they pick and choose who they favor sometimes. And I guess Cody's still young, right? He's still young, so he might still have potential.
But like I said, I think that's it. I think it's the one, and then I think like that's his career. If he loses at flyweight, Dana White will cut him, no doubt in my mind,
for sure.
So he better get going here, Cody Garbrandt. But that glass chin, it sneaks up on you. I mean, Jeff Neal, Santiago Ponzinibbio was a good fight. A lot of that fight was the moneymaker between me and our friend Jeff. He had some money on that fight. I got money on Jeff Neal. He took Ponzinibbio. Jeff Neal coming up with the win. He's ranking up now in the welterweight division. It's just a good win for him against remember the odds I said they were under 110. They're super close.
Yeah, they've been close.
I took Jeff Neal because I figured Santiago, with his flat foot and trade-offs, it wouldn't work out, and that's exactly what happened. Jeff Neal wanted that to happen, and he came out with a decision win. But
that was a really close. That was probably one of the. It was the closest fight.
That's why it's one of the
It was a split decision. It was a split decision. It was definitely like I don't think Santiago proved that he was a bad. Like I don't think he proved he was a bad. Like it was pretty. Like, it was just Jeff Neal's just a tad. Yeah. You know, he's better. Like he was better that night, and he deserves to be higher ranked than Santiago.
Yeah, it was a good fight. But the one I really want to talk about now, the storyline is the one above that. Co-main event for the belts, the women's bantamweight, Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena. Second round, rear naked choke, I think it was. Man, this was last week. I got to apologize to Julianna Pena, I guess. Last week we were sitting here saying like, man, well, Amanda Nunes by whatever she wants, submission. So we were so confident and just, well, for good reason. I mean, Amanda Nunes that night was just, she looked sloppy. She didn't look herself. She wasn't herself. She was tired. She was out of cardio, and that's eventually. So let's break it down here. Like showed up first round. We thought she was, she was dominating. She got her to the ground. She looked
amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
They were on the ground a little, for a little wrestling. She had that Kimura, she was Juliana. She was like holding her arms and stuff like that. Anyway, it wasn't that intense of wrestling that we've seen Amanda Nunes before. She's been in worse. She was getting extremely, extremely tired. And then the second round came up. They go toe to toe, and Julianna Pena starts like knocking her with these straights. Because Amanda Nunes, if you're watching the fight, she's trying these looping punches, right? She's trying to get in looping.
Yeah.
But Julianna's straights kept blocking almost the looping punch, right? It was coming in, but her arm was being stopped by those straights, and she just kept getting hit in the face. She was flat-footed. She wasn't really moving around. No head movement. She looked like Ronda Rousey when Amanda Nunes beat her. Yeah. So she was tired and out of cardio, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But how has Amanda Nunes' cardio gone so bad so quickly? I have a hypothesis. I think it's because back in July, when this fight was originally supposed to go down, and she got COVID, Amanda Nunes, then it got switched to December. Anyway, it got delayed. I really think this COVID-19 has affected her and her cardio, because in round one, when she fought Kat Zingano, right, she gave everything she had when Amanda Nunes fought her. She was trying to finish her in the first round, and then she got tired. That makes sense to me. That was an intense first round. But this one, there was a little back and forth and then a little wrestling on the ground, but nothing like, nothing crazy or anything like that. So, and then she got extremely tired. And in the second round, she got, outboxed basically. And then that was that. So, and also there's the possibility of the weight cuts, her and the featherweight champ, she's cutting weight all the time. That could be a problem, like we saw with Roy Jones Jr. in boxing. But I don't know, Eric, like that's not Amanda Nunes. That wasn't her. That was a sloppy Amanda Nunes. She'll be back in the rematch for sure. But she's got to fix this cardio thing. If it is COVID that's affected her cardio, then it could be a problem, because we've seen, in other sports, players come out and say, they're feeling the everlasting effects of COVID-19 on their conditioning. So hopefully this is not the case with Amanda Nunes. That COVID has affected her cardio and her stamina, because that would be a huge loss, because she was just way out of it. Second round, she was done. She was huffing and puffing. And then remember, she got up against the cage. There was really no fight in her. And then Julianna, all she did was she bent her knees, she dropped down low, and she took her down. She literally threw her to the ground and then went for an easy rear naked choke. So that was that. I don't know. It's strange, Amanda Nunes. She's no longer the champ. She'll be back, but I think she got tired. I think something cardio got affected.
I've been trying to process. I've watched the fight, I think, like 3 times. I've been trying to analyze. Like I still understand how it happens, but it's the UFC, right? It's MMA. A lot of things happen. You can't, like, she was on a 12-fight win streak before that, I believe. 12-fight win streak, and 9 of those wins were title fight wins. So there was nothing that showed, and a lot of them were decision wins. Like, she's been going around, like, nothing showed us that she didn't have, like, when I saw, like, I don't see any weaknesses in Amanda's game. I still don't really see any I understand she got, like, I still don't see any weaknesses in, but I've seen Amanda fight many times, and that's definitely not.
It was a sloppy performance. That's all.
One of the best. Okay, wait. I have an important phone call right now. Can you just pause the thing?
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Dentist was calling.
Yeah.
So So Amanda Nunes, just
you've seen her before, and this was a sloppy performance.
I think I've watched almost every single one of Amanda's wins, like ever since she was champion, ever since even before Ronda Rousey fight. So it just still doesn't make sense. I've always been Amanda, but don't forget, this happens to it happened to GSP with Matt. Like it happens. You can lose. All it takes is, because the thing with MMAs is it's very situational, right? It's very, there's circumstances, and let's say Julianna Pena came with you gotta get credit. Julianna came in with a beautiful game plan. If I was a coach,
not even that, she was the fighter I think we've seen the most like go after go after Amanda Nunes
exactly
aggressively.
Exactly. No one goes as great. So, but usually Amanda is good with those fighters that are aggressive, like Cyborg, but she just hits them with the counters. But because if a fighter is aggressive, all you have to do is come in with a big counter, which is what Amanda is used to doing. Yeah. I guess now I'm starting to question a bit of Amanda's cardio, because I've never questioned her cardio ever. She's won like 5-round fights, like never questioned her cardio. But it's just really weird. It's I don't know. It's sad for me. Like, yeah, I don't like talking, because
we gotta move on anyway.
Because I still believe Amanda's a great fighter. She should be. I'm gonna bet on her in the rematch.
Oh yeah.
I want to see her bounce back from this. But
she just gotta. Something went wrong with the cardio. Yeah. They're gonna work on it. They're gonna talk about it. Maybe COVID is gonna come up. But yeah, Amanda, she'll bounce back. I mean, there's Julianna Pena, like I said, aggressively went after Amanda. Yeah. Amanda kept saying one more. You got to fight this, which she never, she usually doesn't do with other fighters that she fights. But she wanted Julianna to, pretty much prove herself. She did, and then she goes and beats her. But there'll be a rematch, and Amanda will be back, so there's nothing to worry about. Just a little problem with her cardio. I think they're gonna out fix. But we gotta move forward here. Yeah, the main one, Dustin versus Charles Oliveira. This was Dustin's second chance at the belt. First time he lost to Khabib, gets choked out. Second time, Eric. We all think he has a good chance here against jiu-jitsu specialist Charles Oliveira, but then gets the back given up, gets choked out for the second time. No more belt. That's probably the end of Dustin's belt chase in his career, I would say. Don't know if this is the end of his career. We don't know yet. That decision still has to be made. Who else he fights after this? If he just collects the bag, I don't know. That's really who Dustin is. I think this could be it for him after he loses that, Eric. That was tough. It was a sad time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely because Dustin. If he had won this fight, he probably would have been up there with Khabib as one of the greatest lightweights, right? If he would have won that fight, because the lightweight, there's not that much. The history isn't that consistent. But it's very sad to see, because Dustin, I still think he's definitely one of the best fighters in the lightweight history. He's right under Khabib, but I guess Charles Oliveira, he proved to me that MMA is not just about the striking, right? You got to be able to, guillotines can come out of nowhere, So that's the thing with Charles Oliveira, is when you're fighting as someone with as good. Charles has the most finishes in UFC history, I believe, and he's fought in the UFC almost 28-29 times now. He has experience. The thing with Oliveira is, it's always been about before he went on this big winning streak and before he joined the lightweight, he was on this. He'd give up easily. That was his thing. He'd give up easily, but hasn't given up in a while. And now he's shown heart. He's shown his striking. He outstruck Dustin in this fight too. So you gotta give that to him. His jiu-jitsu is amazing. His grappling is good. And in the Michael Chandler fight, he showed that he's not going to give up. He had a huge comeback win in that fight. So, and then on the other side, Dustin, I thought after the Khabib fight and after a couple fights, he's shown that, I can handle these submissions. I won't get choked out, But it's just sad that 2 title fights and it's the same result. They just get his back and they submit him. I thought he'd learn from that, but hey, Dustin's still an amazing fighter. I'm still rooting for the guy. I know he did tweet. He's like, he doesn't know what's next. It's kind of sad because he's still a big name in the UFC and he's still a really good fighter. Because I still think he can beat. I still believe he can beat Charles Oliveira. I think if he beats one, probably 2 or 3 guys. He'd probably have to beat 2 or 3 guys. But
I don't know if he wants to do that.
I don't think his time is coming, because you have Islam climbing up because now if you think about it, Islam versus Charles Oliveira is going to be a close fight. Now that he got that win, And but what I'll let you talk a bit, but I'm saying Justin Gaethje versus Oliveira. That's what's next, and I'm very excited.
That is next. Yeah,
very excited for that fight.
That is Justin Gaethje versus Oliveira. He thought he was going to face Dustin. He really thought Dustin was going to win.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, like I don't know. It was sad. I did say, like, in the episode before when we were predicting this, if Charles were to get his back, it's his to lose, which was the case. Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks because was at the third round. I really thought, anyway, it doesn't matter, but Dustin lose. I think this is the end for him. I don't know if he fights again. Like you said, there's guys who are lined up now ahead of him for the belt. Justin Gaethje is one of them. I don't know how many fights it will take for Dustin to reclaim that number one spot. Does he want to even go through that? He's a big family guy, as we know.
He's been in the UFC for a year. He has over 25 fights.
He just got paid big time with Charles Oliveira. So, paid in full, as he was hashtagging all through these posts and stuff. So I don't know if this seems like it could be the end in my eyes. It could be the end for Dustin Poirier. What, he's like 30. How old is he now?
No, he's 32
or something like that.
30, he's young. He's like 38.
Yeah,
I think he said he's turning 33 in January or something. Like he's turning 33 very
Which we've
soon.
seen older guys fight, but as we know, he's a big family guy too. So he wants to be there with his kids and stuff like that. And he was talking about retirement, and there was questions about retirement if he even won. So, but now it's hard. It's tough to see. But like, kudos to Charles Oliveira. Him versus Gaethje is going to be good. I expect him to submit Gaethje.
Exactly. Same here. Exactly. And same as Khabib submitted Gaethje as well.
They're the same fighters, Dustin and Gaethje, right? So basically,
but how crazy would that be? Because if you think about it, if Oliveira beats Gaethje, Oliveira, and if Oliveira, but he's probably going to lose it, I think. But there's a question between if Oliveira can beat Gaethje, there's a question of who's even better, Oliveira or is Oliveira going to catch up to Khabib? Because Khabib, he didn't defend his title that many times. He beat Alec Quinta, who was not that was a free fight. And then as a champion, he beat Conor McGregor.
I just think it was how dominant Khabib was is the difference.
Yeah,
in rounds.
But Dustin's been
I know he's bad. How many rounds did Khabib lose in the UFC?
Zero, basically zero.
Basically, that's the difference, But how dominant it could be.
But exactly. But Charles Oliveira's career, the number of fights, hey, I understand you might have lost some fights, might have lost some rounds, but just the bounce back story, the bounce back, if he can rise, after being down so long, can rise. It's similar to the Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather debate. On one side you have Manny Pacquiao, who takes the hard fights every single time and loses, comes back right away.
Yeah.
So, and then you have Mayweather with that prestigious picks his prestigious
record.
They have that. They have that. Exactly. So no, definitely gonna be interesting to see.
It will be interesting, but we gotta move on and actually talk about the thick of things here, which is UFC Vegas 45. We're gonna talk about the two main events, the two fights, big ones. So let's start with the first one. This is happening Saturday, December 18th in Las Vegas. Happens every weekend, and this is what we do. We talk about the main fights. So co-main fight, there's a big one, welterweight bout between Stephen the Wonderboy Thompson versus Belal Muhammad, number 7th versus number 14th in the division rankings. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson 16-5-1. Belal Muhammad is 19-3. All right, this is this a 3-round fight or 5 rounds? I think it's 5, or is it 3?
I think it might be 3.
It might be 3, but
it's a co-main, so I think it's gonna be 5 then.
Yeah, but
I don't know how that works usually.
Anyway, Stephen Thompson, Eric. I love this guy in the welterweight. Obviously, one of the best strikers in the welterweight division.
Yeah,
he's got his karate style fighting. He's definitely the better stand-up kickboxer than Belal. But the problem what we saw is with Stephen Thompson is what cost him his last fight versus Gilbert Burns is his grappling game is not as strong. Is not as big as not physical attribute, but it's not as big as strong point in his game. And Belal Muhammad is a grappling guy, wrestling type guy. So this is where things might be looking like it's Stephen Thompson's way, but then Belal Muhammad could be a sneaky underdog. But still, though, I still think Stephen Thompson will take this fight. in a decision. I don't think he'll knock out Belal Muhammad because he's too nice, Stephen Thompson. In a 3-round fight, honestly, seriously, he's probably gonna, knock him down, help him up, Christ, and give him grocery coupons or something. Because that's how nice he is. I see him just outclassing him in the striking zone. I think, can he withstand the takedowns? I don't know. That's a question because I think I'm always sitting here with UFC 269. I'm like, oh no, the better fighter. Even if he's a kickboxer, he's more experienced, he's better. He won't let him get taken down, whatever. But he could get taken down. He is 38 years old now, Stephen Thompson, or something like that, 36, so 37. Mm-hmm. He's getting older. There's a possibility Belal Muhammad gets him down, and that's where I fear, where the fight could go his way. But I still think he could stay up on his feet, Stephen Thompson, with his takedown defense. But yeah, I think he's going to take it by decision here and just win the 3 rounds, outclass him on the striking. That's going to be that. Just technical fighting.
No, that's a very fair analysis. I probably have a pretty similar analysis. It's very weird because the thing with Stephen Thompson is he was like, he basically, I think when he fought Tyron Woodley, he fought him twice for the belt when Tyron Woodley was a champ. I think like the first one might have been a draw, and then the second was like, they're super close fights. And Stephen Thompson could have easily been the champ, but he never got it. And then his career started getting like, he beat Jorge Masvidal right away. That's a huge win. Then lost to Darren Till, lost to Anthony Pettis, and then beat Vicente Luque, who we know is now that was his only loss in like 11 fights, right? And then beat Jeff Neal that we just talked about, and then lost to Gilbert Burns. But the loss to Gilbert Burns wasn't like he didn't get like,
it's just
like
grappling.
It's just a grappling. Like there wasn't a loss. Like he got 19 significant strikes.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns got 29, but he got taken down 3 times. So that's what like there's no like dominant, like I don't think it showed any less of Stephen Thompson's dominance. I think it shows maybe like he's got to get better at grappling because he's definitely not the biggest
grappler.
A grappler, and he's not the biggest what's it called, welterweight either.
Yeah,
he's not the biggest welterweight either.
No,
so you have to take a page out of Israel Adesanya's book because he's one of those guys that's a pure striker basically, and he's able to stuff the takedowns. And he's beaten multiple wrestlers after a bunch of them. So I think Stephen Thompson is going to take this win. Belal Muhammad definitely not Belal Muhammad is good. He's beaten some good fighters himself. He beat Damian Maia, but a lot of people see Belal Muhammad as a boring fighter. I understand that, but he's still a very dangerous fighter. He had that no contest against Leon Edwards, but the fact that he fought Leon Edwards definitely was a big thing. So, and that's where he got a lot of recognition from too. So, I think it's definitely not going to be an easy fight for Wonderboy. It's probably most likely going to go to decision, pretty much. I just hope that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson can show his display of striking. He's going to be able to do his thing. I just don't want it to go to the ground too much, right? Because that's also it doesn't make the fight boring, but it also. But I hope there's a lot of, but I don't think there's gonna be a lot of striking. I think it's gonna be a lot of like hesitations. So I hope it's definitely not gonna be the best fight, but it's gonna be a very technical fight. What's he gonna do? Trying to read, But I hope Wonderboy gets to win because he's a very good guy, good fighter, great for the UFC. Everyone loves him, and people want to see him become the champ. And but he can definitely do it because he's definitely a good fighter.
He's running out of time though. He's running out of time. He's got to win.
Exactly.
Got to win. But yeah, you were saying Belal Muhammad, not a boring fighter completely, but you got to look at some of the competition this guy's had. His past few fights, he's beaten Diego Lima, who got KO by Matt Brown, basically, right? So you got to look at the competition. You fight Lyman Good, who could have won that fight, but just got out volume basically by Belal Muhammad. Takashi Sato, he's a guy who struggles with grappling in his fighting game, right? We know that. That's why he was able to take him to the ground and beat him.
Yeah.
Belal Muhammad's a good fighter. Okay. I just think you mentioned he's good. He could be being overlooked a little right now based off his competition that he's faced. Stephen Thompson is like really good. This would be really big for Belal Muhammad to come out with a win, especially when he's ranked 14th. If he can beat Wonderboy, it would that'd be a huge fight. But Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy, he's one of the best strikers in the division. He's fast, like you said. He isn't one of the big ones, so he's fast. He's shifty. But his karate fighting style is what he's KO'd a lot of guys with that fighting style. So if he can keep it on the feet, a bet I would throw down is Wonderboy by decision. That's probably the best bet you can do. the bet that's going to hit that's probably going to hit the best, most probable. Or if you have money on the side, throw a little submission on Belal Muhammad. If you're down, it's not very, the odds are probably good because it's not really, it might not happen. But you could probably make some money off doing that. It's probably the only way Belal's going to win this fight, in my opinion. In our opinions, I would say. So maybe if you're willing to lose a little, but have quite the gain, throw a bet on that if you want. But let's move on to the main event of UFC Fight Night, Derek, the Black Beast, Lewis versus Chris Daukaus. This is a heavyweight bout. Derek Lewis going in as an underdog versus Chris Daukaus here. Over 120 underdog. Chris Daukaus is under 140 favorite. 25-8 versus 12-3. That's the number 4 ranked heavyweight fighter versus the number 9th. Derek Lewis. Last time we watched him, he lost to Cyril Gane back in, was it August? I think it was, for the interim UFC belt. That was probably his last chance. Yeah. Probably his last chance at the belt, getting a shot at the belt. I don't think he gets another shot at the belt anymore, Derek Lewis, but still one of the more entertaining fighters in the heavyweight. Obviously has the most knockouts in the division. 36 years old. He's going to get a little crack here at the up and comer Chris Daukaus, Philly cop, Eric. Philly police officer. I think he's now full-time UFC fighter. But this is going to be the main event, 5 rounds. And then it's going to be 2 big guys going toe-to-toe. Chris Daukaus, obviously, he's coming off a win versus Shamil Abdurrahimov. I'm still working on the names, which really put him on the map with his win over Alexei Olenek. Eric, I watched the fight Chris Daukaus had versus Shamil, where he beat him in the second round with the KO. He looked good. However, there is some stuff to look at, especially, has a lot to do with Derek Lewis. He takes a lot of shots, Chris Daukaus. As you know, if you watch the fight, even though, he clipped the guy a few times and he KOs him in the second round, he does get a lot of shots. He doesn't have the greatest head movement. I thought he had quite, mediocre range management, where he was, standing far back, but he was getting clipped anyway. And he's like, oh my God, how am I getting clipped from this far back? He's a very hittable guy. But he is surprisingly fast for his size. He's not the best shape guy. It's not like he's rocking a 6-pack or anything like that, but he is pretty fast for the shape he's in. And he, like I was saying, But the problem with that versus Derek Lewis, if you're gonna get hit a lot and stuff like that, better make sure it's not your chin. Derek Lewis, he's probably got the strongest right hand in that division. Like I said, most knockouts comes from that right hand. If he clips you on that chin, you're done. Your fight night's over. And so Derek Lewis, where he does the most damage is when his opponents are coming into him, right? When they're making their way in, and that's when he clips it. And that's the best approach for his knockouts. And that's what Daukaus was doing versus Shamil. He was kind of walking in. He was getting clipped a little in the bodies and stuff like that. Like I was saying, he doesn't have the best range management. So if he does that against Derek Lewis, if he is not aware of that right hand, which he will be, but if he doesn't, work on his range management and protecting that chin, he's going to get clipped. And this could be a first round KO, in my opinion. That's what I have Derek Lewis pinned at, a first round KO bet of Derek Lewis winning. I think he's just got the size advantage. He's got the power advantage. And Derek Lewis is surprised. Like, look at the guys he was facing. Shamil, Abdurrahimov, Alexei. Anyway, these aren't high-ranking heavyweights. That's why they might make Chris Daukaus look good, make him look fast, but very, very versus Derek Lewis, who's surprisingly a fast fighter for his size. He's a big guy, Derek Lewis. He's a surprisingly fast guy, and so he might surprise Chris Daukaus here with his speed too. So I'm gonna take Derek Lewis. I'm not gonna bet against I've bet with him and it didn't work out with Cyril, but I'm not gonna flip on him now. I'm not gonna flip on him now.
No, very good analysis for sure. The thing is, we have to take into consideration this is gonna be a 5-round fight, right? Yeah. So this guy doesn't go past 3 rounds. Like, it's impossible. Like, he does not care about his body. Like, he just goes in there to knock you out, right? So if it goes to decision, if it goes past 3 rounds, you can give it to Chris Daukaus. And I think the fact that it's a 5-round fight definitely goes into the betting line as well. Because, hey, you go over 3 rounds, is basically a guaranteed win. And you can like every time it goes like in the third round, even in the Cyril Gane fight, you can see Derek Lewis start getting tired. Even though he didn't even throw a lot of punches, he was already tired.
Yeah.
And Derek Lewis in his last, like, I'm looking like he almost never throws over like 30, 50 significant strike. Like, he doesn't throw a lot. When he throws and it hits, that's when it does damage. So I don't think he's gonna get it's either. I think Derek Lewis, because if you're betting on Derek Lewis, you're only betting on him knocking him out in the first 2 or 3 rounds, right? Right. So that's why I'd probably take that bet, because Derek Lewis has beaten way better fighters, and Derek Lewis has notoriously been a huge underdog throughout. Like, he's been an underdog for most of his fights, and it's normal. But even though he keeps proving people wrong, people are still going to bet against him just on the fact that all he's got is that right hand. All he's got is that knockout power, and if he doesn't throw that right hand, usually his fights aren't that entertaining, other than the other guy beating him up, right?
Yeah.
So all he needs is one punch. He showed it against Volkov. He showed it against a bunch of fighters. All he needs is one punch, especially on a 5-round fight. He just needs that one punch. So let's just pray that he gets that one punch in. I think he's probably going to get it done. I think he'll be able to knock him out. But it's actually pretty surprising that he's an underdog, considering what he's shown over his, like, he's beaten way better fighters in this. Like,
considering the guy's always a top 5 contender, and he's always the underdog. Exactly.
But I'm not gonna lie, if he does lose this fight, his career is gonna go down. But if he does win, he's definitely up there again. He's up there. But it's tough, because to give him now the heavyweight division is getting stacked up, right? Because you have Gane and Ngannou, then you have Miocic is still in the division. John Jones just joined the division, right? And you have Curtis Blades, who's definitely up there too as well. So it's definitely going to be very entertaining to see what's going to happen with this fight. I hope Derek Lewis gets the win, gets a knockout, because hey, he's great for the UFC. He's a great personality, and hey, he gets knocks, he gets knockouts, and that's what fans like to see.
Yeah. That's why I'm taking him too. The size, his quickness, his reach, his power. I mean, those are keys in the heavyweight division you have to have if you want to beat the other guy. And I think he has them. I think he's got them. I think.
But just don't be surprised if he does lose by decision.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think this fight goes to decision. I think Derek Lewis knows this. I think he knows his stamina is not the best. Working out in the back of a Popeyes or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Popeyes. Yeah, not the best, but anyway, like, who cares? This guy's entertaining. He's a fan favorite in the UFC. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna look to knock the guy out in the first round, in my opinion. And he knows he's not gonna want to get this fight going into the third. So that's why I'm taking Derek Lewis knockout in the first round. I think Chris Daukaus is gonna take a wrong step forward, walking in he's gonna challenge him or something, and then he's gonna get clipped on the chin with the right hand. But yeah, like you said, I could see Chris Daukaus winning. There's a reason why he's the favorite. Like you said, the cardio, everything. That's a lot of question marks with Derek Lewis. If Chris Daukaus plays this passive and extends the time, staying out, kind of like Gane was doing, but he's not going to be as technical as Gane. But staying away from that right hand and just working on even though he has terrible range, he's going to have to work on that. His range management, because if he gets too close, he's going to get clipped. But he's got to get close enough to hurt Derek Lewis, right? To get some significant strikes. So that's where I think it's gonna get troubling for him, because he's gonna get too close or something, and he's gonna leave his head exposed, and boom, that's gonna be it. So best bets for that UFC fight night would be Thompson by decision, in my opinions. That's gonna go to decision. Derek Lewis first round knockout, under 2.5 rounds. Put it all. I don't think this goes over, so you want to bet that. I don't have the exact numbers. Probably should have looked for them, but I think I think Derek Lewis knockout's not very high in the odds, because that's mostly how he wins. But if you're gonna bet on Derek Lewis, bet the knockout. Bet under 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's probably what I have it too. You know what I just thought about? You know what would be a really good fight for the fans probably? If you throw Tai Tuivasa, that we didn't talk about yet, but Tai Tuivasa, who won his fight, who's I believe in the top 10. He's 10 now?
I believe so.
Okay, so they have him at 10 now because he beat the 11 ranked guy, right? So and knocked him out. So you have Tai Tuivasa, who's starting to become a huge name in the UFC, right? You throw him against a huge personality in Derek Lewis. just gonna be a really good fight. I feel like the fans would love that.
That'd be a big fight for Ty. Like anytime you get to fight a top 5 contender is a big fight.
Exactly.
But Derek Lewis, like you said, the fact that this guy maintains top 5 status, consistent, and he's consistently the underdog. Because and it's funny because everyone knows what his game plan is. It's the right hand. He's got terrible cardio. Sure, he could take you down and ground and pound. It's rare though. He doesn't throw a lot of takedowns. But man, that's just the heavyweight's fun because a lot of big guys that throw one punch and you're done. So that's why the division is it's always in constant movement. But those are your bets for UFC Fight Night. It's gonna be a big one on Saturday. Thompson, Wonderboy, and Derek Lewis face off, headlining that. So make sure to check it out. I'm sure we're gonna be watching it, and it should be fun. Check out those bets on your respective betting website, whatever. And take Derek Lewis and Stephen Thompson if you want to listen to us. It's not like what was our percentage? UFC 269. What were we wrong?
Oliveira. I think we got most of them.
Nunes we won't count. Oliveira will count. We got wrong.
No. I think the only one we got wrong is Oliveira. I think even Ty we got right.
Ty.
Oh no.
France,
I took
Sean.
Santiago.
So I was So the only fight, basically, I'm gonna be like Sugar Sean. Don't count Amanda Nunes fight, and I'll say, we got one wrong at UFC 269 main card. But check out that.
It was definitely a tricky one for sure to bet on because I've seen people literally get every single one wrong except the Sugar Sean. Like a lot of people were getting this card wrong because that's MMA too. Like it
was a close card.
Exactly. It was sometimes all the favorite wins. Sometimes there's gonna be like it varies a lot. So
yeah. Well, that's gonna be interesting to see for next week. Not a lot of UFC happening in the coming weeks. Next big UFC fight will be UFC 270, which is in January. That's gone and Ngannou. So hopefully in France, hopefully that happens with COVID, but I don't know, probably not. But that would be cool to see the fight in France because they're both French. But UFC 270 on the horizon about next week. We're not sure what we'll be talking about. As always, it's just a weekly thing. It happens. But make sure to stay tuned for episode 51 next week. But as always, thank you for listening or watching if you're here on YouTube with us to the Chtib Zhang show, episode 50. And we'll be back next week. So take care, everyone. Peace. Roll the outro.